So if hopefully that's okay with everyone, and that allows us to revisit as we need to get all the information that we need to take care of business, so to speak. So let's go on to our next slide. And with today's agenda, we're going to start with introductions. So I'm going to start at the top of my screen and just ask people to go along and introduce themselves. So we're going to start with Eric.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself.
No problem.
I'm Eric Mund I'm the supervisor at Livingston County Probation.
Thanks, Eric. Glad you could join us. Nadia?
I'm trying to unmute as well. Hi, everyone. Nadia Kleekamp, Chestnut Health Systems. All the things across prevention and recovery. I'll leave it at that.
Thanks, Nadia. Cammie?
Hi, I'm Cammie Garrison. I'm also with Chestnut Health Systems. I'm the Region 3 ROSC TA, and I am new here. This is my second week, so I'm just learning and getting to know everybody and taking it all in. So thanks for letting me eavesdrop.
Thank you for being here, Cammie. I've known Cammie the past 3 years or so, and she will be a great asset as our Region 3 technical assistant. So that encompasses most of the ROSC councils that Chestnut hosts and clear out to Western Illinois. So she's got a lot on her agenda coming up. So Chris?
I'm Chris Myers, and I'm from the Livingston County Mental Health Board. We are a funder of substance use services throughout our county. So, and Taylor is going to be my replacement as director here, and she already had a vacation planned. And I noticed on the calendar, she will also be gone at a conference with me at the next meeting. So, but she's looking forward to be part of the council also.
Thank you, Chris. And we look forward to Taylor joining us as soon as possible. So, Rhonda? Rhonda, would you like to join and introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Rhonda. I work at our recovery support specialist.
Thank you. Abby?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Abby Behrens. I am with Brightpoint with the Butterfly Project.
Good to see you. Erin?
Hey everyone, Erin Fogarty with Livingston County Health Department.
Teresa?
Hi, I'm Teresa Deemer. I'm the clinical director of the substance use program at IHR Counseling Services.
And Leanne?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Leanne Corson. I am with Bridgeway, but I'm a subcontract through Chestnut Health Systems. I am the Region 3 ROSC mentor. I'm grateful to be here.
And we're glad you're here, Leanne. So as we move on, I don't see that anyone else has joined. We're going to review and discuss our Slido poll results from last month, the implications going forward and what changed, if anything. Communication outreach plan, or SWAT, and next deliverables. And we'll go on to agency updates after that and some housekeeping. So the next slide is strategic planning outcomes. We'll never know in the present if the ripples created by an individual's actions will have a consequential effect downstream. That is an awesome quote that Dan brought to us. To give us some insight and some thought about what we're doing and the effect, whether we're here to see it or not, whether we move on, whether it could be generations from now. I think one of the biggest impacts for me as a person with lived experience is to be able to see the generational effect of being in recovery, and whether that's substance use recovery, mental health issues, no matter what it is, to see that there's a generational outcome is an awesome opportunity, whether it's ourselves or we're looking in at someone else or a whole group of someone else's. So that's a great privilege to be a part of. So the results of the Slido poll, based off community needs and readiness, which part of the Livingston County ROSC strategic plan should be prioritized first? 77% of the respondents last month said enhancing low-cost transportation services, followed by a small 15% increasing awareness of promotion of harm reduction, and then followed by stigma and explore recovery housing options. So I think that sets a tone for what we're going to talk about a little bit later in this. 77%. Slido poll 2. What type of free trainings, educational opportunities do you believe would benefit Livingston County the most? And 33% of the respondents said substance use stigma. So, and we are working on that. The education subcommittee in the past has had a great deal to do with that. The resource subcommittee works on that. And as we build out and we continue to build out, the substance use stigma is being addressed. And then mental health recovery and supports, ROSC 101 importance of PLE involvement, both with 25%. So glaring steps to take for us in the future. And when's the future? Well, I was always taught that starts right now. So we need to be mindful of that. Slido poll number 3. The one additional way ROSC can engage Livingston County to continue increasing access to recovery services and supports. And it comes out awareness of existing resources, stigma reduction, and networking, collaboration, contacts, partnerships, etc. So awareness of existing resources. So in our last resource subcommittee meeting, we did address that. The resources lists have been updated. IHR and I have been talking about that briefly through email exchanges about adding more and creating more. And that's one of those things that's for us in the community. No matter where we are in the community, no matter who we outreach or who we have outreach to, who comes to our agencies, whether that's probation or IHR or any of us in between, and including the ROSC and the ROSC Council, getting that word out there, getting that information out there. So you all have or have had at least resource lists for that. Plus, we want to touch again on our those business cards that we have with that QR. And I believe all of you have been supplied at least some of those. And we just received another 1,000 for distribution. Let me know if you need more, if you want more, I will get them to you personally. But getting that, we have a jot form out there, it gives us all of our community resources. It gives us what the ROSC is doing. And as all of your agencies send to us, we post that on the jot form, so it's out there no matter what that event, what that announcement is. We put it out there. Plus, it hits our Facebook as well. So, and we tell you every month about our Facebook and our social media that we all have access to, and we do our best in the ROSC to promote all of your Facebook pages and all of your social media as well. So another great way that we've had some great inroads in to building that social media presence and getting that information out there. And we've talked in the resource subcommittee, just so the rest of you know, is there other ways that we can get information out there? And we need your feedback. If something crosses your mind, don't put it aside. Let's talk about it. Bring it forward to me, to whoever, to a sister agency, and let's have these conversations, because it does fit into our education and our stigma reduction. It fits into our resource subcommittee, and it fits into all of us who are persons with lived experience, to be able to reach out, to put into, but also to take from. So these options are out here for us to utilize to their fullest at all times. So upcoming deliverables, communication outreach plan is something that we have to share with the state in terms of our deliverables to show and prove what we've done and what we're continuing to do. And so when we look at our SWOT analysis, we want to know what our gaps are in all of this. So in our SWOT analysis, our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and our threats. We originally did our community needs assessment in 2021. So it is next month will be 2 years old. And we've revisited our SWOT analysis as a Chestnut team numerous times. We've addressed it in our council meetings here on Thursdays once a month, a couple times, maybe 4 times now since we started. So let's take a look at our strengths and our weaknesses while we're all here together today, and find where those gaps are. So when we look at our strengths, our county collaboration, I mean, this Livingston County, from what I hear from all of the other ROSC councils and all of the other coalitions that I talk to and are a part of, Livingston County is head and shoulders above most of the rest in the way that we all network together. All the agencies, whether that's through the people, the agencies that are represented on the screens here today, on the screen here today, or other networking through social services, through the mental health board, through IHR, Livingston County Health, probation, everyone else that's in this, we do a really good job of that. And you folks were doing that well before the ROSC came to Livingston County. So kudos to you for that. But then how do we continue to build on that? And when we go over to our weaknesses and we look at the stigma and alienation, and we look at some of the things that come up in our Slido poll, transportation systems, large geographic area, evenings are challenging, weekends are challenging, weekends are nearly impossible. And we look at, again, at our Slido poll, number one, in question number one, 77% enhancing transportation services. So let's have some open discussion. What does everyone think about when we look at our strengths, when we look at our weaknesses? What do we think about filling those gaps, and how do we foresee moving forward with that? We'll just open it up to anyone and everyone. Yes, so we've got a chat that says, pull that back up. You notice the lack of Narcotics Anonymous and non-AA meetings in Livingston County. Great point. Great point.
Regarding transportation, the last time we had met in our subgroup, that was one of the things that was discussed, and one of the ideas that was shared from one of the area. It wasn't an individual from our ROSC, but one of the individuals from outside of our Livingston County ROSC had shared that it sounded like maybe they had a volunteer system where they had a list of volunteer drivers that they may be able to call upon to get people to and from transportation. I'm not sure if anyone on this call can speak to that or not. But that might be something that we could explore and see about pulling together here. But I have a lot of questions about that I would be interested in reaching out to other ROSCs that are doing that to see what kind of liability there is, those kind of things that I just want to explore before we head down that path.
Good point. And
also, I agree with Aaron, and it was brought up at the last meeting, but we have gotten a grant, some money from the opioid lawsuit from the county to start some kind of transportation program. And supposedly there's going to be more money coming in. So we have looked into doing this, at least for probation clients. And our hope is that once we get something established, we could open it up in the future to more people in the county. So, but yeah, I would like to hear some ideas about how we could get that started as well. I mean, we have some ideas, but no set plan on how to get there yet, I guess. So.
Sure.
I said, Eric, some thoughts were, could you run it like somewhat like Uber? You know, something like that, but you know, whether you just had somebody or, you know, one or two or a couple people. But again, it would be, you know, the payment and again, the approval so that it's not just somebody saying, oh yeah, I need a ride. But it was to get to someplace, to get to an appointment, to get, you know, wherever they
Right.
needed to go. You know, would it be just for getting to work or, you know, for therapy or to a social activity? I mean, all kinds of things, you know, the insurance on it. I don't know, those were, I mean, but the idea was maybe to start it. And my understanding is that same money will be coming for the next 7 years. That same amount.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that, yeah, there's going to be more coming for quite a while, it sounds like.
So with that said, and I'm not asking to divulge the dollar amount, but would it be sustainable for purchasing the vans or whatever it might be, or for paying for transportation? Or has there been any research done on the differences between those two?
It would be more for paying somebody to use their own vehicle and do the transport that way.
Okay.
I believe right off the top of my head, I think it was like $10,000 that we got. I can't remember though exactly. I think we asked for 20 and they gave us 10, but I don't remember for sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, that would definitely be a good start for sure. The cost of
Right.
transportation, we all know what that's like just going to and from work. So even if you live in the same town, so we know that can be quite the challenge sometimes. But any other discussion on that topic? I know in 2022, there were some grants available for people starting transportation services for rural areas, but I don't know what the stipulations were, and I don't know about the insurance, and I don't even know if they're still available. That was brought to me by someone else, and I don't know that any of us did any research on that. So it was just basic. I hate to use the word generic, but generic transportation services, not necessarily medical. And some of these folks with need, I don't know if it would be Medicare billable or how that works at all. So
I'm not sure if this is what you're talking about. We have several clients that have like MCOs, public aid, and they can call through that and get transportation. The problem that I have found is that their rides aren't showing up. So I'm not sure who the people are that are getting approved, but they're running late to get here because their ride didn't show, or to their other doctor's appointments, wherever they may be. So I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. So there's something in place. It just doesn't seem like it's working very well.
Okay. All right. And is there a situation, I know there's been conversation about Uber and Lyft not being insured for certain types of rides? Because of medical needs. Has anyone considered that, or does anyone know anything about that? Okay. All right. I know that was part of a conversation probably there again in 2022 that was brief and no real research. So maybe those are some things we can dig into as well. Okay, anything else when we look at the strengths or when we look at the weaknesses? Anything else that we'd want to discuss today? Behavior health service groups, therapy. lack of awareness of programs available. Anything come to mind? Lack of MAR.
I know on our end, some of the things we're in the works of, I think around the time of this grant, Rhonda, I know it was kind of hard to hear her, but Rhonda and another individual are community recovery support specialists, and they go out with our crisis team. IHR also got a portion of the opioid grant, and what we're going to do, and we don't get these monies until the county's next fiscal year, which is December 1, is one of the things we're doing is having a family, more of an Al-Anon type group, because there was an Al-Anon meeting, but it kind of comes and goes, and there's a need for it, but then no one shows up, and that's more at the Alano Club. So we're going to be working on that and getting that kicked off, hopefully in the new year. And I feel like there was another thing I was going to respond to on the list, but I don't remember what it was. So if I remember, I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks, Teresa. Yeah, also another topic in the chat, only one Celebrate Recovery meeting. That is no longer a strength, and that Celebrate Recovery meeting in Pontiac is discontinued, and people are going to Streeter for that. There again, transportation issue to get to Streeter. Streeter has probably the strongest Celebrate Recovery group south of I-80, between 80 and 70. Quite honestly, they have an amazing group there. And but transportation is a problem. And there have been talks about other Celebrate Recovery starting with no real traction. There was also a comment about Narcotics Anonymous, and when we were working on that again in 2022, we could not get any real traction with the Narcotics Anonymous national team because they don't have enough facilitators in the places that they already are holding meetings. So the closest is McLean County, not enough facilitators there to want to start another program on another night, any time of day, or I shouldn't say night, but any time of day, any day of the week. So that was researched heavily and just could not find any traction because they're strung very, very thin with facilitators, and there's requirements to become an NA facilitator that's a little more stringent than AA. So to bring more meetings, I worked very closely with a ROSC coordinator in Western Illinois, and who has a lot of inroads, and we kind of struck out. And then another chat. Okay, Rhonda says that the Pontiac Bible Church is starting a recovery support group. Not sure if it's Celebrate Recovery. It's starting this month. So I do have a contact there. I will reach out to them and find out what that information is and provide that to everyone. That is where Celebrate Recovery was held, and they've been shuttered since probably it's been a year, right at a year. So I know that the one lady was running some subgroups for Celebrate Recovery out of there, but no full meetings and nothing for men. So any other conversation about weaknesses or strengths, especially the weaknesses? Anyone else? So we're going to use some of this information to, this will help us with our gap analysis as we report that, and we'll be able to move forward with that. Does anyone have anything else in regard to our SWOT analysis or filling the gaps?
Hey, John.
Yes.
Just one thing. I know that Jeff McFadden has been super instrumental in opening some NA groups over in Fulton County. So I would just encourage you, if that is a gap you're trying to fill or find a community champion to fill that gap, to connect them with Jeff. Because he knows how to get that meeting registered with World NA and how to get the materials from NA World and to really get that meeting up and off the ground. So I just want to give you that resource because he's really good at it.
And Jeff is the person that I was working with to bring it to Livingston.
Well, look at
And,
that small world.
Yeah. So, and he worked diligently. I do know that. And
Okay.
we were in constant contact in that regard. And that's what that turned out to be the end result.
Okay, awesome. I was
So,
just making sure.
Yeah, he and Jeff, he's the man when it comes to NA. There's no doubt about that. So,
For sure.
yeah. All righty. Anything else? Okay, if not, we'll go on to the next slide. Salvation Army, is that our next slide? Maybe not. Yes, it is. Okay. So the Salvation Army is undertaking a lot more this year. They brought the fact to the ROSC Council and to the community that they're unsure on how much food they're going to be able to supply because of the uptick, a huge uptick in demand for food and also for toys. So the ROSC is partnering with them in the toy drive to be able to garner enough toys for all the families that they serve plus. What our part in that is, as the ROSC council or the ROSC team, is to be able to have collection sites to help garner toys, unused and unwrapped toys is how we need to approach that. And if you have a business or a place that you would like to open up a spot for us to bring a big tote to collect toys, that would be great. Let me know if you have any other ideas on that, but we'll just be distributing them within the next 10 days or so. That's the goal. We do have a couple sites, I believe, ready to start gathering toys. Also Salvation Army is looking for, and maybe they found it, I've not been in contact with Tina this week, about a place to actually house the distribution. So distribution of toys and food, because they do not have enough space at the Salvation Army. So also, to my knowledge, still looking for a concrete place to put it. I know they were looking at the old Kmart facility to be able to use several thousand square feet of that because of the space that this is going to require. So any thoughts on that, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Tina. Caroline is off the next week or so. And my phone number is on this slide. These slides will be shared. So if you have anything for that, or know of anyone who would be willing to have a space for a 50-gallon tote to collect toys, and we'll collect those totes at least weekly. So we'll be emptying those totes at least weekly until the final cutoff there, as it's described. So a great outreach for Celebrate Recovery. They do, I'm sorry, for Salvation Army, wrong entity, and they do a great work in Pontiac and Livingston County. So, and then we'll open it up for agency updates for whoever has something they would like to share.
I guess I'll share. This Saturday, we have Operation Snow Flurry. So that is a leadership, drug and alcohol-free prevention event at the Boys and Girls Club for 4th and 5th graders. And I believe it goes from 8:30 to 12:30. And another thing we have coming up next week is a DUI victim impact panel. So I think most of you would probably be familiar with what that is. So if anyone ever wants to just sit in and listen to that, you're more than welcome to come. So next Wednesday, the 8th, from 6 to 7. And I've got some really good news. I have my department by the end of the year will be fully staffed again. We haven't been fully staffed in over a year. And so I'm very excited about that. So we still have to train everybody, but we're definitely moving in the right direction again.
That is awesome news. That is great.
So November is the Great American Smokeout. So we are celebrating the successes of our Courage to Quit class by having a little cookout here at the end of the month on November 30th. Invites are being sent out to all of the individuals who have gone through the course since it started, and we'll be posting it as well for individuals open to the public that may be interested in joining that course and just learning more. So I'll be sending out more details and a flyer to this group to be shared amongst their clients there. But just to let people know and let people know that that Courage to Quit class is still available here. And thank you to IHR for their partnership and helping continue to make that program happen for us. We're very appreciative for it.
Awesome. Thank you. Who's next? There's got to be more. Abby, do you have anything for us?
Man, I don't know. I mean, we're obviously still taking referrals. We do still have like a little bit. We have a little bit of like a 4 to 6 week like wait list depending on what county you're in. We just had a therapist move to a different position, so we do have an opening for a therapist from McLean County. If you know anyone who has a master's and it can be licensed or unlicensed, who likes to work with families exposed to domestic violence. But other than that, we just wrapped up Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so it feels a little more smooth than it did the last few months. So we're doing good over here.
All right. Thank you, Abby. I hate to put you on the spot, but I knew you had something. So
I say just a news release, more or less. October 31st, Halloween, was actually the 60th anniversary that President John F. Kennedy signed the Community Mental Health Act, which recognized the significance of transforming our whole mental health policy to more community-based services instead of institutionalizations. And then following that, in 1969, Illinois passed the Community Mental Health Act, which allowed mental health boards, which could provide funding for, besides mental illness and developmental disability, substance use planning and programming and funding. So that's a big deal. I mean, thank goodness for people like President Kennedy to do things like that. So
absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Chris. So anything else? If not, find us on social media. Livingston County ROSC Recovers, a ROSC community, Facebook, Livingston County ROSC, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, email. And Livingston County ROSC Virtual Resource Guide. Scan that QR code and you get all sorts of information. And again, if you need some of those cards to distribute in your agency or as just personal needs, whether you go out to events or whatever that might be, I've got boxes full of them, so I will get those to you. And again, if you have any thoughts about the toy drive, let us know about that as well. I know that she's going to be here for another month or so, but I just want to say a huge thank you to Chris Meyer for all that she's done in her tenure in the position she's in at the Mental Health Board and her support of ROSC over this last 2 years. She has done a great job. She is definitely a champion in this, and we want to say thank you to her personally for that. Our next meeting is Thursday, December 7th, and at noon. You'll get all of this information again in the minutes and in the reminder. Does anyone have anything else? If not, I guess we'll stand adjourned. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, if we don't see each other prior, and I will get those right to you, Abby. Thank you. All righty. Have a great day.